Secretary, as well as the director of the OMB, Mick Mulvaney, a former House conservative, are going to Capitol Hill to try and sell this deal to House Republicans. Most conservatives don't think this is conservative at all, Jake.
All right, Jeff Zeleny, thank you so much. Turning now to the bribery trial of top Democratic Senator Robert Menendez and his close friend of 25 years, Dr. Solomon Melgen. Politico is reporting that Melgen's defense attorney argued in court today that the two men are part of a, quote, Hispanic brotherhood, and that, quote, this case isn't only an attack on those two men, it's an attack on that whole group. Let's get right to CNN's Laura Jarrett, who's live outside the federal courthouse in Newark, New Jersey. And Laura, was the defense attorney for Dr. Melgen trying to suggest that this prosecution is racially or ethnically motivated?
This was a somewhat curious part of the opening statements, Jake. And what I think the attorney was driving at is this idea that Senator Menendez and Dr. Melgen were good friends. They're part of a fellowship. They pay it forward. They help each other out. And so when the prosecution cast these gifts as bribes, I think the defense attorney was trying to say that's an attack on the fellowship.
And Laura, the judge really berated the prosecution and the defense today.
Oh, absolutely, Jake. He really stole the show. He was incredulous at certain moments. He sent the jury out twice when he thought the attorneys had gone too far, straying from relevance. He said he's not going to allow this to turn into a, quote, tabloid trial, and said that he thought that he had heard a lot of, quote, junk from both sides. So he was not holding back at all.
What evidence has the prosecution presented so far to prove that Dr. Melgen tried to bribe Senator Menendez?
Yeah, so today they almost exclusively focused on this April 2010 hotel trip, this hotel in Paris, a fancy room, and the prosecution is using that as obviously an evidence of a bribe. And the defense does not dispute that he took this hotel, he took the Amex points from Dr. Melgen, but instead the prosecution is saying, again, this is part of an ongoing friendship. But of course, the prosecution says, look, there is no friendship exception to bribery law, and they're going to point to private jets, they're going to point to luxurious vacations to the Dominican Republic, and they're going to point to large campaign contributions to Senator Menendez, Jake. So all of that to come in the coming weeks.
All right, Laura Jarrett in Newark, New Jersey, thank you so much. The Secretary of Education, meanwhile, is reviewing the Obama-era Title IX guidelines intended to help prevent college sexual assaults and rapes. Why, she says, she's concerned the rights of the accused are being denied. That story next. Welcome back to The Lead. We're just moments away from getting a brand new update on Hurricane Irma. Forecasters are watching closely for any left or right turn as the storm heads north. That, of course, could impact potentially millions of people here in the United States, in the contiguous United States. We want to return to the politics lead now, however, and another Trump appointee is rolling back another signature Obama-era initiative. Today, Education Secretary Betsy DeVos announced that her department plans to overturn Obama-era college guidelines that are intended to crack down on campus sexual assault and rape. DeVos says that the laws unfairly deny due process rights to those accused of sexual assault. CNN's Renee Marsh covers education issues for us, and she joins us now. Renee, explain DeVos's position on this.
Well, I can tell you that her comments today already sparking controversy. She says that she will change the way that colleges handle allegations of campus sex assaults. Now, her comments were made at George Mason University in Virginia today. Again, no doubt sparking controversy. She described people accused of campus sex assaults as victims, saying that the current system creates additional victims beyond the accuser, also pointing out that the accused in some cases were victims as well. So here's the backstory, Jake. Under the federal law known as Title IX, schools and school programs that receive any sort of federal funding, they are prohibited from discriminating based on sex. That also includes protection from sexual harassment. Well, in 2011, Obama issued new guidelines for how schools should handle these sort of sex assaults. The Obama guidelines said that they should be aggressively investigated, but critics like DeVos said that, this guidance is unfair to the accused, and it set a very low standard of proof. Well, DeVos said that she will seek public input when she makes the change to the current system. But really the backstory here is, for a long time, colleges and universities were accused of turning a blind eye to sex assault over fears, over bad publicity. And what the Obama administration was trying to do was change the guidelines so that wasn't the case. And we are already hearing comments from people like former Vice President Joe Biden. He's reacting on Facebook, pretty much saying that this is a step in the wrong direction, Jake.
All right, Renee Marsh, thank you so much. I want to talk right now more about this with CNN senior political reporter Nia Malika Henderson. Nia, the Obama-era guidelines obviously meant to address serious concerns that colleges and universities had been sweeping under the rug sexual assault and rape incidents, even an epidemic in some places, under the rug.
That's right. And those guidelines were really issued after a culmination, years and years and years of victims of assault on campuses petitioning the federal government and really trying to ring the alarm bell on college campuses about what was going on. During that debate, you heard a statistic, which is 1 in 5 women victims of sexual assault on college campuses. Some people say that's 1 in 4. And Vice President Biden was obviously a big part of that. And a lot of folks who worked in the White House as part of a whole public relations campaign around trying to raise awareness about what was going on college campuses and to pressure college campuses to do more. And so now you have something of a rollback with this, with Betsy DeVos, the current Secretary of Education, wanting to take a second look at this.
The summer, Secretary DeVos met with both survivors of rape and sexual assault from college campuses, and also with college students or former college students who said that they had been wrongly accused of those crimes. What do you make of these concerns that the accused are being punished without having been convicted, and that the standard of proof is too low? Is this a big concern on college campuses? Obviously, it happens. There are false accusations with everything, but the statistics I've seen show that it is a vast minority of incidents are false accusations.
Yeah, I mean, the stats I've seen as well, it's something like 2 to 10% are falsely accused and false accusations, and you've had some high-profile cases where the incidents ended up being false accusations. I think in some ways this is going to play right into what we're already seeing, sort of the culture wars. You'll have conservatives essentially saying that what the Obama administration did was political correctness run amok and essentially overreach. And you've heard some of that from people who work in the Department of Justice. Candace Jackson, who works in the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Education, essentially said that she thought that 90% of these cases that come up are really just people who were both drunk and later wanted to cry that something happened and something like a sexual assault happened. She later backpedaled and said that she was being flippant and mistakenly flippant. So I think, this is, again, a rollback of what we've seen from the Obama administration, in some ways not surprising. And again, I think it plays into this division between conservatives and progressives and how culture, how people should interact, and again, playing out on campuses. And I think what will be interesting to see is how colleges themselves react. Right? I mean, they, of course, welcoming students to their campuses now as the beginning of the school year begins. So we'll see what happens on their end.
All right, Nia Malika Henderson, thank you so much. That is it for The Lead. I am Jake Tapper. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Tapper, on Facebook, or at The Lead CNN on Twitter as well for the show. I turn you over now to Wolf Blitzer in the Situation Room. Thanks for watching.